Oh, hello there. Don't be alarmed. We're just preparing your listening device for ScubaRadio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We do this, of course, by filling your radio with water. Don't worry, we're professionals. Thanks to me, you won't even get wet. You see, I've crammed every appendage of my body into the cracks and crevices of your radio, ensuring an airtight seal. By the way, don't touch your on-off knob. That's a very sensitive area. Anyway, I should remind you, we believe in the buddy system just like diving, so don't listen alone. Call your buddy and tell them that ScubaRadio is about to begin.
We're gonna start a new life under the sea.
So, am I gonna drown?
Of course not. Just stay calm and let the gentle currents relax your every muscle.
Under the sea, under the sea.
Did it just get warmer?
There'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Where the hell are the sharks?
And now, here's your dive guide for ScubaRadio, Greg the Dive Master.
And welcome. This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ's in the studio with me. We got the ScubaRadio Scuba Squad connected via the web. That is made up of Jerry the Diver Guy and Bubble Boy at the moment. That's all we got. We just got two ScubaRadio Scuba Squad members.
You guys better step your game up.
Greg.
Step it up, boys.
Special ain't like, I'm going to Hawaii, yay! Kind of special, I think, though.
Greg, have a little sensitivity.
I am.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, okay,
Greg.
sorry, guys. But anyway, yeah, where was Vinny Two Tanks? I mean,
you were with him. I don't
know.
know. You saw him last week.
Well, he might have been murdered.
I'm sorry?
No, he probably has the diarrhea before the Who.
No, I was out in California hanging with Vinny Two Tanks and Tutu Tom on Seal Beach Pier. And we went out and had a good little visit out there. I was looking for
Seal.
No.
I know you didn't answer
Seal
this
Beach
in the boat show.
Seal Beach Pier, just south, or is it just north of Long Beach? I guess.
Don't look at me. I don't live in California.
Yeah, but it's in Vinny Two Tanks, a neck of the woods, and so we were hanging out and had a nice little visit. And he didn't bring Harry along with him, though. I was very disappointed. I thought we were going to chuck Harry, his painted pumpkin, off the end of the pier there at Seal Beach Pier, but he didn't bring him. I said, "Where's Harry?" He goes, "Oh, I forgot him." And I'm like, "What? I flew all the way out to California, and you didn't even bring Harry with you when we, went out to the pier to go have a beer and chuck him over the side and give him the..." burial at sea that he deserves.
Vinny had an issue with short-term memory?
Shocking, isn't it?
Huh.
Being short-term memory?
Yeah.
Never.
So, he forgot to bring Harry out there with him. So I didn't meet Harry, but I did have the whole California experience. I saw a bunch of boats.
That's all I wanted to hear about was that damn pumpkin.
Well, of course.
The rest of it, I don't really care.
I mean, we looked out over the water, over the pier. I was like, gosh, that does look very diveable, but it's like 60 degrees. So I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
and and we saw
that's where it's not better down where it's wetter.
Maybe
one of the rare instances.
I mean, just looking at it,
shrinkage.
Exactly. Just looking at the water gave you shrinkage. But we had the whole California experience. We had the sunset going, the beautiful scenery, nice boats, that kind of thing. They were even shooting a film production right there on the beach. When I was walking across the street.
And there you are in the most romantic scenario with two middle-aged men.
Right. But I had the whole California experience. I crossed the street and a guy threatened to kill me. I mean,
Well, can you blame him?
Well, no, but I'm just saying that's part of the whole California adventure, I believe, isn't it?
That was Vinny.
Go out there. No, it wasn't Vinny. He wasn't with me at the time.
It's Tutu Tom.
No, it wasn't
so
him
you
either.
could have chucked a pumpkin at him. Like, you could have
defended
yourself.
Harry would have been, he would have been like a pumpkin shield, so to speak, if I needed it.
Let's go back to the point that what TV show or film was they shooting there?
Don't know, don't care. Yeah, they were on the beach.
You wasn't going to be a California sweaty tourist?
No, I did yell out over the pier like, "Hey, if you need a dead guy," because I played a dead guy in some Divers Alert Network videos back in the day.
Something that takes no acting chops whatsoever.
And I got the same response.
Just lay here, keep your
there
eyes
was
closed,
silence.
and shut
There
the
was
hell
no
up.
response. So I don't know. But
we found his performance rather wooden.
Well,
rather stiff.
A little cold.
Sidney Portnoy.
Portier.
Yeah, he would be proud of my performance.
No,
I
he
think.
would not.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes,
Only
he
if
would.
he was lying to be polite.
Well, anyway, I was out there, and they didn't hire me to play a dead guy or otherwise. But once again, I did get threatened with murder.
And you did get to hang out with two middle-aged men.
You know, and you know, what was great
I love
about
this dynamic. He's like, CJ, you want to come to California with me? Gonna go hang out with Vinny and Tom. I'm like, maybe not.
No, that doesn't sound like a good time. Come on.
I'll pass.
You know, I mean, you know.
I like those guys. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But
I can get a sausage party here.
Well, that's true, but you're not threatened with murder every day. Or that was the first time I've ever been out to California.
No, because I live in a
Boulevard
decent
to get
state.
No, that is not true, Jerry. I in all my years of all my travels, I've never been threatened with murder when I cross the street in any city of the United States or the world, for that matter.
Well,
So-
it's your fault for looking like you do.
No, it is not.
They look like a sweaty tourist.
You might as well just
Why
put
did
a
the
big
master cross the road?
I didn't say a word.
You put a big victim stamp across your forehead.
He just let. We were walking around, and you know, I was ready to say, "Hey, how you doing?" And it was like, "Hey, you never seen a guy with a mask before? I'll kill you, MFer." And I'm like, "Okay,
Have a nice day.
don't
I'd have probably
engage,
busted
don't
out
engage."
laughing at him.
You'd be great. The greatest comeback to that would be back at you.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. In this
I'll kill you
case,
too. You son of a bitch. I'll kill you.
You know, it was like when I went to New York City for.
I'll kill you before you could talk to Hugh Douche.
It was like when I went to New York City for New Year's Eve, and I had the whole experience, saw the ball drop, and walked back to my hotel room and see a guy relieve himself in a potted plant.
But that's normal.
You saw both.
No,
balls drop.
that's just
that
part of
pales
the
ag-
whole New York experience,
But
you know?
somebody whizzing in a plant that's drunk, it pales in comparison to being threatened with your life.
With murder, yeah. That was a new level of nuttiness, I will say. But yeah, you know, not to dwell on it, but I was like, you know, I'm all about new experiences.
I'll kill you, MFer. I know you are, but what am I?
That's right.
I killed your mom last night.
Yeah. Yeah, I could have just did my pose, you know, like, hey, thumbs up. You know, do like one of those.
Yeah, I would have scared him away.
Yeah,
He'd
possibly.
be like, this guy's crazier than I am.
Good point. Yeah, you fight crazy with crazy, with
Yeah.
more crazy,
You just
right?
give him this look.
Exactly.
What'd you say?
Well, for what it's worth, that was in the Riverside, California area, so more inland. It wasn't on the coast there with Vinny and Tom. We had a nice little visit with them, and it seemed a little better
Are
there.
those guys roommates or they just live close to each other?
Well, no, they're not roommates at all. They just, they get together once a week or go watch, or once a week, I think is what
They're
Tom was saying.
platonic friends.
Well, when they Tom has a commute, in California, like 30 miles back to his house.
So it took him like 3 hours to
So
get there.
in Vinny's his place, I guess, is about halfway through. So sometimes when the traffic is bad,
Which is every day.
yeah, he calls up Vinny like, "Hey man, I want to kill some time. Let the traffic die down. We'll watch the sunset together."
Do some bong rips.
Excuse me.
I'm just guessing. Just
Okay.
guessing. I have no
but-
idea what those guys do.
Yeah, I don't either. But they hang out. They know the places to be, and they took me to one of them, Seal Beach Pier. It was a pretty cool place. It was nice.
Did you see any seals?
I saw one made of bronze.
So no.
Yeah. Vinny said, "Hey, there's the seal. They killed They killed them all. So we only have this bronze one now."
Oh, Mr. Brightside.
But I think there were seals there still somewhere. We just didn't see them when we were there. I think they have
They
some.
were being great white snacks.
Okay, maybe. But it was a good visit. It was a good visit to
But
California.
you went for
Not-
business.
I went there for business for our airplane show. I did drive around the Hyatt Regency in the Long Beach Convention Center, which is the setting for the scuba show that we were speaking about last week with Mark Young.
Right.
And that place looks nice. I can't wait to get back there in May. And we were,
They still have that big sea mural on that one. I don't
yeah,
know if
the
it was a
Wyland.
water tower.
That's a
or
Wyland
something.
mural.
Yeah, was that
Oh,
like some water
nice.
tower or something? I don't remember.
Yeah,
what
it's
that
just
was.
a big circular something or other. I
You could see
forget
it from
what
the
it is.
hotel that we stayed at.
Yeah,
at one
exactly.
time.
Big landmark. But yeah, that's a Wyland mural. It's Wyland in the round.
I mean, nothing like Vinny would paint, but
Well,
Still
I don't
decent.
know. I
Still
mean,
decent.
I
It had
mean,
big buck teeth on it.
I mean, you know, we've never had him turn Harry around to see his backside. I mean, I don't know if his artistry continues around the entire
backside's got a
pumpkin.
crack in it, Greg. That's why he keeps it pointing forward.
Good point. We probably don't want to see that. So
I'm excited to see what he does this October.
What do you mean?
Another painting, another pumpkin.
Oh, well, that's true. I did ask him. I said, so you didn't bring Harry? I said, is it because he's squishy and he's about to pass? And he goes, no, he's very firm. And that was a direct quote. He's very firm.
Okay.
Take that, marinate on it a little bit, and see where you want to go with that, which is probably something we don't want to discuss on the air. All right, more coming up, I promise. We're going to talk about some diving stuff next on the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Conventional underwater scooters can be heavy, unwieldy, and underpowered. At just over 8 pounds and with speeds of up to 7 miles per hour, the Scuba Jet Pro dive scooter is a game changer and fits in your dive bag. The Scuba Jet Pro uses an eco-friendly jet engine with impeller technology. With adapters, it can even power paddle boards, canoes, kayaks, and all kinds of water sports equipment. It's the most versatile scooter you'll ever own. Learn more and get the Scuba Jet Pro at ScubaJet.com. That's ScubaJet.com.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of Scuba Radio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures Scuba Radio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Hey, baby, what's going down?
Later, nerd.
Are you lacking with the ladies?
Nope.
Enhance your scuba superpowers with a new Scuba Radio hat.
Wow, nice hat.
Just picked it up at ScubaRadio.com.
Buy 2 Scuba Radio hats and get free shipping.
Need a dive buddy, sexy?
Always. And I got a Scuba Radio hat for you, too.
New Scuba Radio hats are now available at ScubaRadio.com.
So cool.
Order yours today, or stay a loser.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
You're missing all the fun. These people are great. Some of them have been partying all night long. They sing songs till they get too cold, and then they go sit by the fire and they get warm, and then they come back and they sing some more.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master, just back from a Left Coast visit. They had a new Tupac, museum kind of thing on display out there. Yeah, I was going to visit it so I could be hip with today's youth, you know.
You could be hip hop.
True. But I decided, I don't have time. I got to go hang with Vinny Two Tanks and Tutu Tom and go have some,
Did you go to any of the cool rock and roll places? Like the Whiskey?
Like the Whiskey, a Go-Go? Yeah. No.
Did you disappoint me? You disappoint me.
Yeah. Well, next time. I will tell you, the travel.
There is a Whiskey near International Drive.
We drank some whiskey. Does that count?
Nope.
Okay, but I will tell you the travel out to the West Coast is, it might as well be like traveling to an island in the Caribbean that's been shut down for some time because we're based in Florida and we're pretty much wide open here in Florida. We don't even they don't even bother with masks much anymore here. And in California, that is not the same experience you will encounter. Not only will you see, tent cities and Winnebagos outside your hotel room that are just lined up along the street. It's a little strange. Maybe a little bit more trash than I remember in years past on my trips to California. And there's that whole thing being threatened with murder and stuff.
By the homeless.
I don't know if the guy was homeless or not.
Oh, you told me
he was just crazy.
He was.
I thought he might be, but I figured he
Some
must be crazy.
insane person.
It's not. He
didn't like the way you looked.
He didn't like something.
I mean, what set him off? My God.
I have no idea. I wasn't even saying a word at the time. Dennis was with me, and he was like walking behind me.
Maybe he's heard the show.
Possibly. That's it.
He's like,
you're the guy. You son of a. Yeah. So, that's all part of the California adventure.
Yay.
Without the Disney moniker above it, I guess. But getting there, traveling to California right now is a bit of a challenge. I had to sign some kind of, waiver that said that I wasn't, I was going to wear a mask and I had to follow all the protocols and all this, all this red tape kind of nonsense for the COVID garbage that everybody's dealing with. But I'm here to report that it was, really not a big deal. I mean, you got to wear a mask in the airport, everywhere for that matter, not just California, but when you get out and about at pretty much any indoor area, you have to still wear masks in California.
But pants are optional, right?
Good point. Outside, I think that is the case. Inside, I think the hoteliers and the businesses prefer, or they have a you must wear pants policy.
Okay.
But along with your mask,
Mask and pants.
Mm-hmm. But it's just one of them things that,
what about
a lot of people.
closed-toed shoes?
I didn't go that far with it.
Was it cold? Well, I didn't...
It was on the chilly side. It was a bit nipply.
Like 40s? 50s?
It was closer to 50, I would say, in the evening.
It's cold here today.
Yeah, it is a bit of the same. Actually,
was freezing this morning.
It was probably, I'd say, about 5-10 degrees cooler in California than what we had in Orlando.
It must be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, at least we weren't Jerry the Diver guy in the mountains of Virginia.
God, no. I'd kill myself.
Freezing your berries off. So, anyways.
Jerry looks like Chilly Willy crying ice cubes, little tiny ice cubes.
So true. So true. But as far as the travel experience itself, no big deal. You can navigate it. Everybody's dealing with this COVID wave at the moment. Hopefully it's starting to die off, but it wasn't a big challenge to navigate. And so, don't let the COVID thing keep you, if you feel comfortable enough in your own skin to travel and you're, I think it's just up to you. You know what I mean? And that would apply to traveling to any place that has, some more, more restrictions and things like that. You might have to get tested before you get on the plane. If you're flying international, you got to do that to come back to the States right now. But as far as the hoops you got to jump through, they're really not that difficult to manage. You can do it. And once you get there, most of the stuff that we experienced was open. Now, we were planning to go to the Magic Castle. Me, Dennis, Tutu Tom, Vinny Two Tanks. We're going to meet the scuba magician and go to the Magic Castle. And no, that is not a euphemism for some kind of weird group thing that I know CJ's thinking of.
I thought it was a strip club.
No, that's called the library, but that's a whole different thing. But regardless, you
ain't checking out books.
Yeah, but
he is overdue.
But the scuba magician ended up picking up COVID. So we had to cancel those plans and postpone them. And that's, our Magic Castle adventure got wiped off the itinerary, unfortunately. So the plan is to maybe reschedule that around the scuba show at the middle of May, if we can't get out there before then. It's a bit far away. Well, we might get back out to California before then, and maybe even maybe next time we go out there, we might even try to do a dive. Bubble Boy, what say you?
Well, Greg, did you try? He wasn't available. How about the Egyptian magician?
The Egyptian magician.
He does great things with furniture.
Okay, all right. If that I didn't know about that.
Is there a punchline? Is there something we don't know?
I don't think that was a joke. That was called an observation.
An Egyptian magician that does things with furniture.
That was called the booze is talking. Bubble Boy.
Hell is he talking? He's amusing himself.
He is.
I have no idea.
I just hear a bunch of ice rattling around in his.
He brings a monkey on the
beverage
stage and he
container.
beats him senseless.
Wow, I'd pay good money for that.
Okay, Jerky Boys. Now I got it. I didn't realize that's what it was called.
Right, but and for what it's worth, Tutu Tom believes he may be cursed because that was his third attempt to go to the Magic Castle. He lives out there. He has not been himself. Neither had Vinny, but Tutu Tom actually had plans to go out there right before COVID, and the day they were supposed to go is when they shut down, for a year or so or whatever. And then so we scheduled this thing. This was going to be his third attempt. First attempt, he didn't dress up enough. You got to wear a suit and the whole thing, and he didn't know. He showed up and they said, "Oh hell no, you get away from us."
Damn tutu.
That's right. He's Tutu Tom. He has a reputation to uphold, and they didn't appreciate the attire that he came out with the first time. So anyway, I believe he could be cursed or possessed or whatever the case may be. So we'll rectify it here in the future. More coming up. Stay close.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving, flying, and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving, flying, and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why I wanted to tell you about Nanook Professional Protective Cases. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook cases generally cost less than similar products currently on the market. From an iPhone to a full set of dive gear, whatever you need to shield from the elements, Nanook Professional Protective Cases has the size, shape, and color for you. Go to Nanook.com. That's Nanuk.com for Nanook Professional Protective Cases. The evolution of protection.
Need an escape from reality for a while? Your favorite scuba action star, Mike Scott, is back in an all-new audiobook, Cayman Cowboys, Reefs Under Pressure. From the brilliant mind of author Eric Douglas comes the thriller that started it all. Listen as Mike unravels the death of a girl, the protest of new development, and the systemic destruction of coral reefs, all against the stunning backdrop of Grand Cayman Island. This one's got it all. Submarines, kidnapping, betrayal, and more.
He didn't even have fins or a mask to let him see in the water. He was going to be slow and blind. If it weren't for the float, he knew there would be no way he would ever make it to the surface. When he was ready and completely relaxed, he wrapped his arms through the straps of the seat cushion and gently slid into the water.
Dive back into adventure with Cayman Cowboys. Also available, Oil and Water, Return to Cayman, Turks and Chaos, and Lionfish. Download all 5 audiobooks now at Amazon, booksbyeric.com, or audible.com.
People, let me tell you about a friend I know. He's got the world's first scuba diving radio show. So now everywhere I am, and everywhere I go, the first thing that I tune to is Scuba Radio.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. Okay, so I was out in California this week, and the reasoning wasn't for scuba diving. And, I did get to hang with Vinny Two Tanks and Tutu Tom. We had a fun little adventure, wandering the coast there, just south of Long Beach. We were on Seal Beach Pier, a pretty cool area, actually, to walk around and look at the ocean. It was just too cold. It was like 60 degrees water temp,
Yeah,
if
thanks.
that. Yeah. So you got shrinkage just looking at it. However, it did, I went out there for Just Plane Radio, our aviation show for private pilots, because there's a new airline that was making its debut, and we were invited to, for the opening event and that kind of thing. It was not Lufthansa. It was Northern Pacific Airways.
Oh, I was hoping it was Aer Lingus.
Nope. They're modeled after Icelandic Air, which has got an interesting model for an airline. But long story short, they're going to have their hub in Anchorage, Alaska, and they're going to fly from Florida, Texas, New York, California, through Anchorage and over into Asia. And what's unique about that is if you're going to Hong Kong to, say, visit the toilet museum, and you wanted to mark that off your bucket list, which
who
is
doesn't?
Yeah, I have it on mine. You can actually have a layover in Anchorage, Alaska, and explore a little bit for a couple days, as opposed to just making the 15-hour flight straight there or whatever the case may be, and cost you a fortune. But you stop off in Alaska, maybe that would be, even though it's cold, even in the warmer months, that would be something to kind of mark. I'd be willing to mark off the list and go diving in Anchorage, Alaska. What do you think, CJ?
Nope, too cold.
Why? Dry
Alaska.
suit.
Hello, Alaska.
Yeah, but you
I don't have a dry suit for one.
We could get one. You could borrow a dry suit.
I'd have to get certified.
A dry suit's not
Greg
the
would
same
have
as
to
a
get a new
wetsuit. It wouldn't be like a wetsuit because you don't relieve yourself in dry suits like you do in wetsuits.
Right.
We'll explain next. Stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Here comes old Greg. He's a scaly manfish.
He's Greg the Dive Master.
What you doing in my waters?
The show is a disaster.
I got something to show you.
He's Greg the Dive Master.
Hi there.
Master. Dive Master. Dive Master. Dive Master.
Come on, Greg. Pleased to meet you.
I'm Nart. Hello, fishies.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. Greg the Dive Master here, along with CJ in the studio. Scuba Radio Scuba Squad, made up of Jerry the Diver Guy and Bubble Boy at the moment. We've got a limited crew, like a skeleton crew today.
A duo.
Yeah, a dynamic duo.
Well, just a duo.
Oh, not dynamic?
I don't know if they're dynamic yet. I don't know if they've earned that.
They're kind of like that Saturday Night Live duo. What are they called?
The ambiguously gay duo?
Yeah. Are they?
Hans and Franz?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what we were thinking.
Nope.
All right, so this new airline, Northern Pacific Airways, is going to be setting up shop by the end of the year. And they're going to have a layover in Anchorage, Alaska. Then they're going to have little shuttle flights all around the state of Alaska. So you could hop on this plane, plan a trip to Tokyo or someplace in Asia, have this layover, break it up for a day or two, and go explore. Maybe fit in a scuba dive in Alaska. That would be one of the few places on the planet that are very cold, generally, for the most part of the year. But the attraction might just be enough to weather.
I mean, it's like negative 13 there now.
Well, yeah, that's now. You would if you went now, you could potentially maybe do an ice dive, and you could you could play upside down underwater hockey.
No,
they do that. What do you mean? No,
that sounds totally safe.
Well, they do that. There's actually leagues.
Yeah, cool.
But would you like to do an ice dive if it was like, hey, you could do this?
I think I'd rather be murdered by a homeless guy in the street.
No. Yeah, you actually would have to be murdered or just threatened.
I'm not getting in that water. It's too damn cold.
Oh, come on.
Nope.
Yeah, just the ice rattling around in Bubble Boy's glass kind of gives you a little dose of shrinkage. Is that what you're saying?
No. And stop talking about
penises. Excuse me?
Very unbecoming.
I was not.
You've mentioned that like 4 times so far.
So what are you trying to say?
Shrinkage.
I'm just,
I'm sorry
driving
you were
home
having
the point.
problems, but the rest of us are fine.
Okay. Okay. That really was not
Back to your ice talk.
the focus of.
Keep
what
talking,
we're-
ice boy.
Okay, so you're telling me there's no underwater attraction that would make you put up with the aggravation of putting on a dry suit and diving in cold water. Is that what
CJ
you're
just
saying?
wants to see the ice hole.
There's that.
Man.
A glacier. You
Now,
go see a
if there was
glacier.
a chance of seeing some orcas, that would be cool.
Narwhals.
That'd be cool, too.
Maybe they have all kinds of crazy
You
stuff.
got to play that song.
Whales.
Whales.
Yeah, they got all this stuff in Alaska. that
Watch
you
out for the blowhole.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually, I've walked around on top of a glacier last time I was in Alaska, and looking in the waterways that kind of tunnel through the glacier like these, it looks like Superman's lair. What's it called again? You guys know. You guys are nerds. Come on.
The Fortress of Solitude.
Exactly. See?
That's it.
See, I knew there was one of the nerds who was going to get that. And but
He
yeah,
helped you out. He answered your question. Now you're going to insult him.
No, I insulted him before I even asked the question.
Oh, okay. Cool.
The Fortress of Ingratitude.
The Fortress of Ineptitude.
Anyway, it looked like that. These waterways that you actually could take a kayak through as one of the tours that was available. But I was thinking, you know what? This would be pretty cool underwater too. If you were diving in a dry suit.
When was the last time you dove in a dry suit?
It's probably at least 10 years ago, probably
See?
15. Why?
You don't like it either.
No, I
You're
mean,
gonna do it more.
it was in July. It was in July
In July.
in the
mean every
Chicagoland area.
You don't.
I want to say it was Dutch Springs. No, that's
You're losing your
New
mind,
Jersey.
fellas.
I forget. It was a
Dutch oven.
a popular dive site in the Chicagoland area. Gosh, no, I don't remember where it was exactly, Jerry, but it's a popular.
So cold he forgot.
Well,
The
no,
Hawthorne
it was a quarry, and in July, and it wasn't.
And you needed a dry suit in July.
Well, you did. I mean, it was
that
like
cold?
it was 80 degrees or more topside, and you gear up, you got all sweaty and stuff, and then we get in the quarry there, and as soon as you hit the water, it's like whoa, and then you hit the first thermocline at 10 feet. You're like, oh my god.
Now, how cold was that water?
It was like, you want me to say shrinkage again? That's what you're setting me up for, aren't you? I see what you're doing, young man. How dare you?
query.
How dare you?
Are you trying to get a sponsorship? Is that what you're trying to do?
Oh, golly.
Would it be high query?
It could have been. Yeah, that's what it was, high quarter. Yeah. Is it high or hide? I forget.
Haigh.
Okay. Yeah, but a nice facility. They actually have a little beach, sandy beach
Good
with tiki
visibility,
butts and
all that stuff.
tiki huts. Tiki butts. Is that what I said?
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
So it's a
There might be some cheeky butts.
depends on the day, I guess.
Good viz.
It was good visibility.
Fun dive?
Freshwater
How deep?
fish we saw. We went down about 40.
That's cool.
And I think we experienced not one, but two thermoclines. So there's one like around 10 feet, and you're like, ooh. And then you get down to about 30, 40. You're like, whoa, golly. Chile. Yeah, it was definitely cold. But, I didn't mind the cold factor as much. You're in a dry suit. You just, it's a little shocking at first, but you get used to it real quick, and you're dry. So, it's no different than, going outside in 40-degree weather, at first, you're kind of like, okay. And then I got my long johns on under my dry suit. I'm good. But when you get back out of the water and that's 80 degrees, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm burning up. It was just a lot of extreme. If you were just cold right from the get-go, maybe it's better. I don't know.
Nah, that's fine.
You don't think? But have
So,
you? When did you do a dry suit, Jerry?
I've not done a dry suit. It doesn't matter whether you're dry suit or wet suit. If you get into the cold water and get out in the cold, it's still miserable.
That is incorrect.
But he hasn't done it, so how does he know?
Yeah, that is not
It's
true. I mean, if you do a dry suit,
Pure conjecture.
you could actually wear a dry suit. You gear up inside someplace, like in a shack or something, or the men's room or whatever, and then it goes out to the water, and you
Excuse
jump
me,
in your
gentlemen.
hole. Casey the Tobacco Nut here just in time to chime in on men's bathhouses. Yes.
Never mind. Let me back out.
Well, you got to
leaving now. I don't know how I got on this channel.
He was waiting on something that piqued his interest. And he was gonna
evidently.
Usually, if you're used to wearing a dry suit, you got some sort of undergarment under it. If you're really going into cold water, woolly
like a long john thing
or something.
Yeah.
Like some sort
the
of
only
silk
thing
kimono.
bad about cold water is if that dry suit has a small leak.
Oh yeah, you don't want any leaks in your dry suit.
No.
That would be bad. That'd be
the other
very
thing
bad.
you need to make sure of is that you don't squeeze your carotid artery in the neck seal, because that would be bad too.
Okay.
That'd be fatal.
They could
you
be.
pass out. Yes.
Yeah, that would not be good, I guess.
So I've got some experience up in Puget Sound in Oregon, North Oregon, diving in wet dry suits, and
yeah, and it wasn't a pretty thing.
It takes some training and some effort.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's a skill. You got to
Finally
take a class.
someone who knows what they're talking about.
Right.
Thank you, Casey.
But I mean, if you've never done it, it is much warmer, a much more comfortable experience than a wetsuit.
It's like being
by
wrapped
far.
in a down parka with a rain jacket on.
Right.
It's nice and warm inside.
Exactly.
As long as you keep your feet below your head.
That is true. Yeah, because you can get air pockets in your legs, and next thing you know, you're swimming upside down, and it's all goofy. You look like a moron underwater.
Ascension is not fun.
Yeah.
That's the technical term, Greg?
Moron. Correct. You would be an underwater moron.
No good.
No
bueno.
Right. So, but if there was something to see underwater, like the scenery in Alaska is spectacular.
Yeah,
I would be willing. I'd be willing to give it a go. I would.
I'm not big on the upside
You could
down.
be convinced.
Not
to
the
go.
upside down ice deal. I'm not thrilled about that.
Why? That'd be awesome.
You said you don't want to get upside down because you get air pockets. You just said you don't want to do that.
Well, no,
now you're saying skate upside down.
That's just the skill of learning how to dry suit dive.
Some of your weight is also like an ankle weight. You've seen the tank weights that snap around the tank?
Yeah, these are totally different weights around your ankles. Get it?
Okay.
All right. More coming up.
Scuba Radio.
Would you like to talk diving? Greg the Dive Master's all toweled down and ready to take your call now. Call Scuba Radio at 1-888-88-SCUBA.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of Scuba Radio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures Scuba Radio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer. And Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Peregrine is a simple, full-color, multi-gas dive computer. It's also the most economical Shearwater dive computer released to date. Check it out and the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater. Dive computers for demanding divers.
Do you have a message or a product that you'd like to share with the diving world? Well, look no further than Scuba Radio. Just like you, thousands of diving enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to ScubaRadio.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Radio.
Prepare to rig for dive!
Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with ScubaRadio.
ScubaRadio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
ScubaRadio.
Dive, dive, dive.
This is better than porn. It's like porn and Shark Week combined.
He's got no legs to kick it with, and he's got no arms to swim with. But nonetheless, he is a scuba diver man, and he's doing the best he can. Scuba diver man, doing the best he can. Scuba diver man, scuba diver man, scuba diver man, scuba diver man, scuba diver man.
His brain ain't right, but it's fun.
Okay. This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. CJ's here.
Take it, Scooby-Doo.
And me, too, yeah. But I'm Greg the Dive Master, not Scooby-Doo. Even though that would have been, that should have been something I went with.
That could have been your wacky radio name.
Yeah, exactly. It would have worked, I think.
Scooby Greg.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo.
All right. So, what would make cold water diving worth it?
I just told you, seeing something cool like narwhals or orcas.
And they have all that stuff
right.
in Alaska, I think.
I mean,
like I said, that there's one thing about going up to a quarry in, outside of Chicago. And, it was a fun experience, don't get me wrong. And I don't knock it, especially for the local divers. It gives them a place to get wet and practice the skills.
Not in a dry suit.
Yeah, who's making all that racket?
What's worth it.
Who's making that racket? What is that? Did you hear that?
I heard something.
What are you doing? Is that Bubble Boy?
Sorry, it's another slam call when I'm trying to beg for money.
Okay. He's
They're just calling to tell you your warranty's expired on your car.
Well, there's that. Okay.
That's exactly what it was.
Bubble Boys.
I'll tell you what we can go diving for in the cold, Greg, is gold.
Cold
gold
means gold.
Gold.
There you go.
Where?
In Alaska, they have that, yeah.
Really?
I actually asked the CEO of that new airline, I said, in your layover, can you just give every passenger a free bucket of pay dirt like they have on, what's that show on Discovery? Gold Diggers? No, that's on Bravo. Bering Sea Gold.
Housewives, Greg.
There's a lot of shows that could be called Gold Diggers.
Yeah, but yeah, they could give you a bucket of pay dirt and you go pan it for gold on your layover, and then who knows, maybe you pay for your airline ticket like that. That could be thing. Or you go underwater and
you need to get a lot of pay dirt, Greg. I panned for some gold while I was up there, and you don't get. It's not the big quarter chunks that people show off.
Well, you have to get really good pay dirt.
Well, okay.
You should have went to the right place.
That's right. Well, the one with a lot of gold in the pay dirt.
Poor, sweet, naive, dumb Greg.
Okay.
Let him have his little fantasy, you guys.
All right. Well, anyway, I think the attraction of Alaska, Anchorage, where Northern Pacific Airways is going to have their layover, would create an interesting little enticement to go out there and dive.
You would have to really lay over. I mean, you couldn't fly out that same night.
Well, you couldn't do the same night, but you could do, say, 3 nights and
Stay
do
in
a
a
day.
log cabin.
Do a day of diving there, at least a day or two, and go dive around a glacier or something like that. Look for narwhals or
help
whatever.
Help me out, because I haven't done this and I don't have one.
What?
How heavy and how bulky and how
a dry suit?
Yeah, how do you travel with a dry suit? Is it a lot to bring with you?
Yeah,
in a duffel bag.
Yeah. It's probably you're probably looking at about 15 pounds worth of extra gear, wouldn't you say, Casey? Yeah, depending on the kind of dry suit you have.
So can you wear it on the plane, Greg?
You could.
Wouldn't you sweat to death?
I think you would.
Yeah,
it'd be a little
you'd
odd.
perspire in the suit. I mean, it's a sealed bag around you.
Yeah. You could do it though, but when you went into the lavatory,
it'd be if you need to lose weight, it'd be like wearing one of those sweatbands.
Yeah, like sweating to the oldies. You could be
sweating to the oldies in your dry suit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You end up stewing in your own juices.
Yeah.
As appealing as that sounds, probably not great travel attire.
Oh yeah, then there's that part about wearing a diaper.
Excuse me?
What?
In the dry suit.
Oh, okay. I thought we just took a really.
That's just something you're into.
Yeah, exactly. We weren't going to judge.
It's not like any of us have ever not peed in a wetsuit, but in a dry suit, it would cause a much different situation.
Yeah,
I have not.
Okay, so you're officially a liar.
No.
Yes, he is. No one believes you. Literally no one.
No one.
Literally no one.
I think I've explained this reasoning why I've never peed in my wetsuit before in the past. And let's just say
you're one of those shy peers.
Peed in the wetsuit, and I don't do rentals no more.
Okay.
They stink.
Right. Well, yeah, but still, there's that learning curve at the beginning.
Wash them.
At first, you're like, oh, yeah, I guess everyone else is doing it. Let it go. And then you're like,
when it's 90 degrees outside, washing will not bring it out.
Well, okay. But to say that you've never done that, Jerry, well, is a bold-faced lie.
Never have.
In the very beginning,
how would he know it stinks if he's never done it?
Exactly. That's my point.
Because those evil students.
No.
You will know when they pee in it.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing.
If it's that bad, maybe you need to alert them to see their doctor.
Yeah, Jerry, obviously a little bit of a germaphobe, has an issue. And actually, I'm like that too. But when it comes to number 2, he's like, he doesn't care. So you got to be careful, you know, when you're diving with Jerry as your dive
Bubble
buddy.
Boy at?
He'll talk conveniently not here.
He passed out. And after all that chatter,
he went to go get more ice so he could be loud.
Well, anyway, you can wear a diaper in a dry suit if you like, or a lot of the newer ones have these valves that are specifically designed for relieving yourself in the unfortunate event that you need to. Yeah, little relief valve. You know, a one-way valve contraption you can get on a dry suit. I know these exist. Google them. And make sure you spell everything correctly, or a website is going to come up that is going to involve showers and golden things. And I'm not talking about nuggets here. So we'll leave it at that. Hour 2 is on deck. We got some new Scuba Radio gear we're going to discuss, and also check in with Julio Gomez or Captain Walt DiMartini. That's coming up in Hour 2 of the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Be there on Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Scuba Radio.
This seems the logical place for fish to congregate.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past editions of Scuba Radio worldwide over the internet at ScubaRadio.com.
So we're in international waters? Indeed so.
Tell a friend and buddy up with your radio every week for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Well, it's all very nice here, but we should be going. I miss me wife and me oxygen.
Yes, we all miss our loved ones and gases. Let's go.
The opinions you just heard on Scuba Radio are those of the hosts, callers, and guests.
Okay, what I just heard? Blah, 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 blah.
They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
Come on, quit yanking me.
Scuba diving does involve risk and should never be conducted without proper instruction and training.
Oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I could die.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at ScubaRadio.com.
Oh, hello there. Don't be alarmed. We're just preparing your listening device for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We do this, of course, by filling your radio with water. Don't worry, we're professionals. Thanks to me, you won't even get wet. You see, I've crammed every appendage of my body into the cracks and crevices of your radio, ensuring an airtight seal. By the way, don't touch your on-off knob. That's a very sensitive area. Anyway, I should remind you, we believe in the buddy system just like diving, so don't listen alone. Call your buddy and tell them that Scuba Radio is about to begin.
We're gonna start a new life under the sea.
So, am I gonna drown?
Of course not. Just stay calm and let the gentle currents relax your every muscle.
Under the sea, under the sea.
Did it just get warmer?
There'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Where the hell are the sharks?
And now, here's your dive guide for Scuba Radio, Greg the Dive Master.
And welcome to Hour 2 of the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. We got a lot of stuff to navigate through this hour. But
good thing we have another 60 minutes.
Yeah. And we got at least a good quality 2-3 minutes.
Oh, good. Well, let me know when that's coming up, so I'll start paying attention.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Give me a heads up.
But
just
I know,
look at me and give me a head nod.
Well, I will, but I want to give you this opportunity to clarify something. You had a question.
Yeah, Casey, can you hear me?
Yeah, of course. Yes. Scuba Radio, Scuba
Casey.
Squad connected. Casey, the tobacco nut.
Yeah,
Yes.
Casey was talking about. He sounds like he's the one with the dry suit experience. Is that right?
Yeah. Cold water diving with a dry suit and a diaper.
Yeah, you were talking about wearing a diaper.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, I had 2 questions. One. Do you have any trouble, since you're wearing a diaper, do you have any trouble wearing your studded neck collar under the neck seal? And also, what about the ball gag under your regulator? Go ahead.
Well, first I use a positive pressurized mask, which blows past the ball gag. And I put the studded collar on the outside of the seal.
Thank you.
And it's not tight enough where it closes off his carotid artery.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, because that would be dangerous. Jerry the diver guy, obviously.
Does he wait until he gets topside to take his whipping?
Oh, there's whips involved too.
I'm just assuming it sounds like a whole S&M thing.
What about the rattler? Doesn't he have a rattler?
Oh, God. Oh, you're thinking about the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Somebody just started snoring. I don't know what's that all about. We put someone to sleep
Ask
again.
Jerry any questions right now.
Okay. All right. That's enough
tickled
of you,
him.
silly
Jerry's
kids.
tickled.
All right. Yeah, but most I don't think dry suit guys.
I love
wear
how Casey just answered that.
Yeah.
Just dry as hell. I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's what,
No
what
pun
you do.
intended.
Try to if you
I
weed
am
through
a trained professional.
if you weed through all the nonsense, there actually are little nuggets of knowledge.
Yeah, you gotta sift through them just like you're panning for gold.
Right. Nuggets. Exactly. Okay, so there is some other dive news that we want to cover today. One of them involves Shearwater Research, the dive computers that divers, the most popular dive computer out there, I think, by far. We've talked about the Peregrine dive computer, which is their most recent model release in the last year or so.
I got to get
which is a
me one
little
of
bit
those.
more economical than the Tarek, but they did just come out with a new version of the Tarek, which is really sweet. And this is called the Journeys Edition. And, it's basically, I think the guts of the computer are the same, but it's more like an appearance package, but it looks impressive. And it's inspired after the, like the old time divers, the commercial divers and the helmets, like a Mark V helmet type of thing. So it has that kind of bronze frame to the bezel of the dive computer. It looks really impressive. You can check it out at shearwater.com. It's the Tarek Journey Edition. It goes on sale literally. It just went on sale this weekend.
Would that be considered bling?
I don't know. It would be another thing like, just saying, hey, I am cool. I am a diver.
We have no
Look
one
at this.
here under 60 we can ask, but maybe
True.
one of our listeners can.
True. I mean, you could go around like Casey and brag about the fact that you wear diapers in your dry suit, or you could wear a Tarek and really show the world that you know your stuff, that you are a proud diver, and you have the dive computer / dive watch to prove it. 'Cause
I
can wear
haven't
this
seen
as
one
a
of those
watch, too.
bronze deals since the Egyptian magician.
Really? Well, I don't think you've looked hard enough there, CJ. 'cause,
Maybe not.
it's out there. But shearwater.com, they're always doing new and cool things. The Journey Edition Tarek, available now, and go check it out.
And then you have to say, don't stop believing.
You know what? I don't know if there's any connection.
I'm going to go now.
Yeah. To
Jerry's
the band
having a tough
that is on
time
tour
with this
now.
dive computer fly.
So sorry.
Yeah. So, and he leaves on cue, as he should. Go to the corner, please. Yes, go to the corner. Stay in the corner for a while. You deserve it for that. Oh boy. All right, so the Gomez Hilton,
Would we need?
Captain Walt DiMartini, is been a little bit, missing in action lately. And but we're going to try to connect with him and the reason he hasn't been on Scuba Radio recently is because he has been, he's been renovating the Gomez Hilton down there in South Florida. It's went through some major upgrades.
Yes.
To get prepared for the season. I mean, we're in high season right now. So, Captain Walt is, it looks like he's going to be joining us, we hope. We're going to try to connect with him in just a bit and find out what these involved. Of course, they do involve upgrades to the outdoor tiki room area. And as you would expect.
What's bigger than a hut? It's actually almost too big to be called a hut now because it's like more than 3 times its original size.
Well, I mean, okay.
Tiki building?
It is... Well, it is pretty much a commercial facility. Things like 20 by 40 or something. It's huge. It's one of the biggest tiki bars in South Florida, I believe now. I mean, it is nice.
Yeah, it is.
It is super nice.
Yeah,
it is nicer than a lot of bars I've been to.
Right. So
does that mean he put out more Chase lounges for us to sleep on?
Well, Ian, I don't know. We're gonna try to connect with Captain Walton and get a first-hand report if things go as planned. But it could be a little bit late already. I don't know. And
maybe he actually put chairs out under some sort of cover so we don't have to sleep in the rain.
Well, no, you'll.
There's a lot of covered area.
Look, there's plenty of room for you out on the deck. You just, if you want to wear your diaper, that's fine. Because, I mean, you don't want to leave. You don't want to make a mess. I mean, the place has just been upgraded. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You shouldn't get on me about that, Greg.
I'm not getting on you. I'm just pointing out
you're the one
some
that
obvious
usually pulls my chain. So.
What? That is called off the air chatter. Well, I thought we discussed this.
Here right now. We got to get to the bottom of this.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I would not use the word bottom in any kind of sentence when you're talking about that kind of stuff.
Come on, quit yanking me.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're going to connect with Walt hopefully here in just a bit. But the other big thing happening this week is we got some new Scuba Radio gear in. Are you ready for this?
I am ready. Let's do it.
All right. I got it right here. I'm going to show this.
To the squad.
These are available at ScubaRadio.com through Deeply Designs, but we got our first samples here that we're showing up on YouTube and Facebook Live and Twitch. So we have Scuba Radio Rash Guards with a big like a Superman Scuba Radio logo right on the chest, so it'll pop right through your dive gear and show your love of try this out, Scuba or CJ. See what you think of that. That looks pretty nice.
Thanks.
Nice material.
I'll take it.
No, it's not for keeping. It's for looking
Too late.
and displaying.
Awesome.
See what you think of that.
for that.
The quality of that's pretty nice, though.
Finally.
Isn't it?
Finally.
You know what he means
Worth
when he
it to
says
show
you can't have it, CJ? It means he has it.
Well, if I
It's
pee in
his.
it, then nobody wants it.
Well, I don't think you could.
That's what you got to do.
I don't think you could do that in a rash guard. Unless you don't put it on like a pair of pants. What the hell's wrong with you?
You don't want it. No.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's got the opening in the bottom. It's so convenient.
All right.
You don't want this.
Yeah.
You don't want this back.
Okay, we also have this thing. So the other thing I asked our designer, Catherine Castle, to create for us was a Scuba Radio
This seems
cap.
pretty good.
Like a dive cap.
This is pretty good quality.
So you look at this. See, I'll sport this thing. What are you laughing?
Hey, look. Barry the
Look
Boater
at me,
just
look at
joined
me.
us.
Yeah. So it is kind of an odd. It's white, but it has a Scuba Radio logo. Like, you wear this, over your noggin.
I could use that.
Try
so
that.
I don't get sunburned.
Yeah, you don't get, it's like a do-rag kind of thing with Scuba Radio logos on it. And it does kind of, look like Barry's watch cap.
That's how you catch COVID.
Excuse me? Oh, boy. All right, more coming up. Stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Conventional underwater scooters can be heavy, unwieldy, and underpowered. At just over 8 pounds and with speeds of up to 7 miles per hour, the ScubaJet Pro dive scooter is a game changer and fits in your dive bag. The ScubaJet Pro uses an eco-friendly jet engine with impeller technology. With adapters, it can even power paddleboards, canoes, kayaks, and all kinds of water sports equipment. It's the most versatile scooter you'll ever own. Learn more and get the ScubaJet Pro at ScubaJet.com. That's ScubaJet.com.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of ScubaRadio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures ScubaRadio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer, and Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Taric is the best, most intuitive, and reliable wristwatch-sized dive computer on the market. Check it out in the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater, dive computers for demanding divers.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with ScubaRadio.
ScubaRadio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
ScubaRadio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Did you throw a trident?
Yeah, there were horses and a man on fire, and I killed a guy with a trident.
Rick, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. You should find yourself a safe house or a relative close by. Lay low for a while, because you're probably wanted for murder.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ's in the studio with me. Just tried on his new ScubaRadio Rash Guard, just for sizing. Large?
Probably.
Yeah. They're supposed to fit kind of snugly, like a bike, bike shirt.
Like a hug.
Okay.
Some of us are built larger than you little weasels.
Well, they
we
stretch.
Don't want snugly.
Well, no, they stretch, and there's bigger sizes than large. You can get an XL, maybe even a double X. I don't know. You have to go up there on the website at ScubaRadio. It's Deeply Designs is the website will take you. But we have links to it from ScubaRadio.
Nice and thick.
Do we put in Greg's discount?
Yes, we have a crew discount. Yeah, email me after the show, Casey. It's 20% over list.
Aha.
Right.
Which is how much less than normal retail?
I got a diaper, I'll sell you.
That's
slightly used.
That is not right. What is wrong with you people? All right. Look, couple little things I want to get out there. In all seriousness, our hearts go out to the family of Tom Mount. He passed away this week. Tom Mount, if you don't know, was a pioneer in the dive industry, especially when it came to diving nitrox. He was like the founder, I believe, or one of them from INTD. He's done so many things. Good friends with our buddy Neil Watson, similar stature in the dive industry. We lost him this week, which is sad news for the dive industry. So once again, just wanted to get it out there. If you haven't heard, it's all over social media in the dive industry, and it is sad. He was a super nice guy. I didn't know him real well, but every time I did talk to him, he actually...
That's why he was nice to you.
Yeah, he acknowledged me.
Because he didn't know you that well.
Maybe
he knew you.
Maybe that was the case. But he was a great guy, and a lot of people respected him, and he had a great contribution to the dive industry, especially along the lines of nitrox. I was talking to Neil about this, and back in the day when nitrox came on the scenes, scene. Some of the other agencies, called it voodoo gas. Even Neil Watson, when nitrox came out, he wasn't a big fan of it because, he had his operation in the Bahamas and to offer nitrox, you have to, have membrane systems and you have to mix the gas properly to, make nitrox available and all that kind of stuff. And it was, it's more work, honestly. And he was like, I don't know if I want to take on the extra, challenge and responsibility to create this extra gas. But, it started off a little slow. There was a lot of blowback. But finally the benefits of diving nitrox, or enriched air, as we call it today, outweighed, the extra effort and, issues associated with diving that particular gas. Because really the only downsides of nitrox really is
oxygen toxicity.
Yeah, your maximum operating depth, which, so there's a certain level or depth that you can go on nitrox that is safe. If you go beyond that, you're opening yourself up to problems with oxygen.
Isn't it like 100, 110, something like that?
Well, it depends on
mixes?
It depends on the
target depth.
It depends on the mix that you have in your tank. So
right.
say
and
like
you mix it per target depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so the standards are usually 32, maybe 36. So like 32, generally it's around 110, 120 or something like that. But yeah, it has a lot of benefits because you can dive multiple times and not get into decompression problems because of nitrox.
Well, it shortens your surface interval.
Right. So it gives you more bottom time safely.
It's been a while, so some of the nitrox policies might have changed, but don't you need a certain rig and different O-rings, and it has to be a clean system?
Well, it has to be a clean system on the fill, yeah. But that's up to the guys filling your tank, isn't it, Jerry?
I think so, but
yeah.
What Casey's talking about is designated gear for it.
Right.
Ones that you just want to use just for nitrox.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of the cleaning system in it.
Well, you're talking about the tank and the compressor, not necessarily regulators, even though they do.
Well, yes, regulators too.
Well, it depends on the type of diving you're doing, though, too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting more into technical stuff and caving and things like that, yes, and deep diving, that's where a special system.
Basically had to deal with any petroleum-based products like rubber O-rings or.
That's the big thing with it, with like the lubricants that they coat the O-rings with.
Right.
Yeah, the lube.
I got a diaper, I'll sell you.
That's a big deal.
But it really comes into, it's not so much of an issue at like 32, but if you get into technical diving where you're doing like a 50-50 mix of oxygen, that's where it becomes a problem with the type of lubricants and things like that because, oxygen actually is flammable. And so when you get into the more technical extreme levels of diving, that's when, specific rigs or regulators and things like that for nitrox become a factor per se.
Yeah,
but
I was in there with the dive gods at my shop, and I just didn't want to get involved with it at the time because it wasn't as clear cut and as easy to do when it started.
Well, exactly. And that's why, like I said, Neil wasn't really a big fan of it when it first came on. But it won out, and it's definitely mainstream these days. And people like Tom Mount were pioneers in making that, making that possible. So hats off to them.
The biggest pioneers of it was Dick Rutowski.
Yeah, absolutely. All those guys.
Yep.
So, that's one thing. There's another story that kind of popped up on our radar today. I think it was Pete from Scuba Board. This is actually an old story, but this is where they're taking, air tanks and dive equipment and using it in unique ways. But I don't think this one's going to go as mainstream, or it hasn't. I mean, the story's like, 5 years old. But basically, this guy was taking pot smoke, filling it into a scuba tank, and thinking that, hey, yeah, then I just pop my regulator in my mouth and get a hit and I'm good to go. Obviously, the guy, I believe, was in California. But when he did this...
It was in Boston.
Was it?
Read
well,
the
that's
article.
even worse. No. Well, it's an old story.
I didn't know it was old.
Yeah, it was
I
like
just read it this morning.
2016. You know, we covered it when it first came out, and you know, but the problem, the guy used an old scuba tank because this could be a good way to, you know, create a new way to get my high. But the problem was he didn't know what he was doing, and he blew up the tank in the process. Which
that's a lot of pot smoke to blow up a tank.
Yeah, well, you know, the whole
knocked it over,
compressed air thing,
exploded.
Yeah, it's we don't advise that kind of stuff. That's not what your dive gear is for. More coming up. Stay close.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of Scuba Radio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures Scuba Radio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Scuba action star Mike Scott is back in a new audiobook, Cayman Cowboys, Reefs Under Pressure. From author Eric Douglas comes the one that started it all. Listen as Mike deals with submarines, kidnapping, betrayal, and more.
He didn't even have fins or a mask to let him see in the water. He was going to be slow and blind. If it weren't for the float, he knew there would be no way he would ever make it to the surface.
Download Cayman Cowboys or Oil and Water, Return to Cayman, Turks and Chaos, and Lionfish at Amazon, booksbyeric.com, and audible.com.
Do you have a message or a product that you'd like to share with the diving world? Well, look no further than Scuba Radio. Just like you, thousands of diving enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to ScubaRadio.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Let me tell you about a friend I know. He's got the world's first scuba diving radio show. So now everywhere I am, and everywhere I go, the first thing that I tune to is Scuba Radio.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ's in the studio with me. And you never wanted to use your gear to, like that guy in Boston, right?
No.
Yeah. You know, I don't think...
it is a unique idea. It probably would have worked had he not been drunk as hell when he tried it. And he knocked it over, and it was some kind of aluminum tank that was banned.
Right.
And
it was before 1993.
Mm-hmm.
It exploded, and
that was the end of that.
It made him a little less of a man, if you know what I'm saying.
No, what do you mean?
Chopped his balls off.
Excuse me? Yeah.
Castrated him.
Okay. That'll teach us. Okay.
Which is probably good because this guy should not reproduce.
Good point.
So
right. I agree. But yeah, that's not a proper use of your scuba gear by any stretch of the imagination.
The real sad thing is, the real tragedy of this story is that we'll never know if it would have worked or not.
I don't know if that's a tragedy.
It is.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's plenty other ways to get your fix if you're into that kind of thing. You don't need to use your regulator or dive gear for that kind of stuff.
Well, you just use your old one or your extra one.
No, that was the problem. He used the old stuff. He thought, hey, I'll use stuff I don't use anymore.
Well, I mean, just get a tank that can handle that.
No. That's not appropriate. That's not good.
You're right.
We frown on that type of activity.
Don't just frown on it.
Bad idea.
Yeah. But yeah.
It is creative.
Yeah, I'll give him that much.
He could use his CBD oil for it.
For what exactly?
He can rub on it for the pain.
Okay, we're talking about a different kind of ointment to help the healing process. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
CBD.
All right. There's
It
that.
cures
I guess.
everything.
Yeah, that and moonshine, I believe. If you drink enough of that, you don't care what kind of pain you're in, right? I think that's how it works.
You can smell the chicken manure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that too. All right, more coming up. Stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Bulavinaka, I'm Maggie Khan of Matava Eco Resort, Nadeva Kandavu, south of the Pacific Islands in Fiji. You are listening to Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to scuba diving. And now here's a guy I got liquored up enough to put on a grass skirt. Greg the Dive Master. Greg, you wicked girl.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. Yeah, I think we are going back to Fiji this year. You know, it's Scuba Radio's 25th year anniversary, and we are in discussions to see if we can make that happen for the big party or one of several.
I'm in discussion with it.
Why is that?
Go hang out with my buddies.
Yeah, you want to put on a grass skirt, do you, Jared?
I'll put on a grass skirt.
Yeah, technically it's
Please
called.
don't.
Well, there's grass skirts, and then they in Fiji they have those. They call them sarongs because they're so wrong. That when you put them on, especially a guy like Jerry, the diver guy. Now, if you're someone like
so
Mermaid Rachel, I mean, they encourage that kind of thing. You know what I mean? But
I guess
she's with us now. She joined the Scuba Radio Scuba Squad. We actually, I think she tapped out with Casey the Tobacco Nut, and Rachel tapped in. Rachel, how are you? How you doing?
I am doing well. How about you guys?
Good. We're talking about wearing grass skirts in Fiji. Have you ever done that? Because I know you've been all over.
I have never actually been to Fiji. That is definitely on the diving bucket list.
Yeah.
Headed out that way as well as Palau. I'd love to do that as well.
Well, there you go. But the grass skirt thing that's hadn't shown up in some of your like fire eating and twirling activities because she does that too.
Yeah, I tend to stay away from the grass skirts with the fire dancing.
Ah, there's that.
Like,
any highly flammable attire, probably not the best costume or outfit for participating in those kind of activities. But where are you today? You look all bundled up when I'm looking on YouTube and Facebook Live and Twitch. Are you in some kind of cold weather area as we speak?
I am. I'm actually in Washington at the moment. So bouncing around back and forth. I'm also picking up some shifts in a pharmacy. And so I'm basically just working in a pharmacy, came out here for a little bit, and then I'll be headed back to Vegas next week.
Okay. All right. Well, she's in the cold, real Great White North. Glad I'm not you, I guess is the first thing.
The diving out here is not so bad. It's pretty cool, especially in the winter. The visibility is amazing.
So, yeah, are you into the cold water diving? We were talking about that earlier, and, Jerry says no. CJ says, I may have talked him into maybe doing some diving in Alaska. But have you done some stuff up there in Washington yourself or no?
Yes, actually. So I made it all the way up through Rescue Diver here in the Puget Sound. And it was cold and I was a broke college student. So the cheapest time to take your courses was in the middle of the winter. And so, you come out and you're in your 7 mil wetsuit and you feel like the Michelin man.
Yeah.
And I got all the way up to Rescue Diver and then decided that when it came time to, becoming a dive master, I was going to do it somewhere warm. So I went to Thailand.
Right. Well, there you go. That sounds more appealing for sure. But you did the 7 mil wetsuit thing, huh? Did you ever do the dry suit deal or no?
Yes, I did do the dry suit certification. I'm still a fan of the wetsuits, though, especially with free diving. It's gotten, it's just way easier and less bulky.
Right.
So I just kind of braved the cold. But there are some beautiful shipwrecks out here and dive parks and stuff. So, Seattle and the Puget Sound area are pretty cool.
Okay. Well, we're hoping to get to Fiji. We were talking about doing another trip to, or I'm looking into the possibility of getting over to the Galapagos this year, which for me is extremely cold because it's in the water's temp is in the 60s, depending on when you go. Around there, Darwin and all that stuff. It's cold. It is cold for a Florida warm water wuss like me. But if I go, the first time I went to the Galapagos years ago, I did the same thing. I had a 7-8 mil wetsuit, and I was like the Michelin Man. But even that, after a couple dives, I was dying, and I was like, if I go back to the Galapagos and it's like in the 60, 65 degree range. I think I got to bring a dry suit to really, be able to conquer the temperatures that are thrown at you. It vary wildly. Sometimes it would be closer to 60, and sometimes it'd get up into the, closer to 70. And when it was there, it was like, 7-8 mils okay, but anything 65 and below, I was like, I was dying after a few minutes. But you're a little bit. You could endure that a little better than I. It sounds like. You think?
Oh yeah, well, that's what the teaching conditions are like out here as well. So I taught a course here at the end of October, and the water was in the 60-degree range. And then I actually just taught a course in Vegas, like in December, and there's snow on the mountains, but you're in a 7 mil wetsuit, and that lasts you for a good 2 to 3 hours. But I'm also diving the open cell wetsuits, so they keep you a little bit warmer for the amount of thickness of the wetsuit.
Okay, but you're saying you had snow in Vegas?
No, just out on the mountains. So you go down into the valley and you're fine.
Right.
But it was just funny because I got a picture of my student after he was done with his course. And there's him in the foreground, and the lake is all nice and it's beautiful and it's Vegas desert. And then if you look in the far back, there's there's snow on the mountains.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
There's snow on my mountains right now.
And that's a euphemism for that he needs.
It's colder than hell outside.
Just rub some CBD oil on it and you'll be fine, Jerry. All right. When you're in Vegas, are you diving Lake Mead? Is that what you're doing or what?
Yeah, so Lake Mead, Lake Mojave. I've also done some diving in Lake Tahoe. If you guys ever get to go out that way and you have access to a boat, there's a really cool underwater dive park with over 27 different wrecks.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool as well. And, Lake Tahoe has amazing visibility as well.
Yeah.
The lakes were almost empty out there.
Well, yeah, they're draining down with the drought and stuff like that, but they still got water in them. Yeah.
There's a rumor that they're going to drain Lake Powell to fill up Lake Mead, and I'm hoping to hit up some of the slot canyons before that happens. I hear that there's, just looking online, there's some GPS coordinates for different slot canyons that people have scuba dive.
Slot canyons. That's what you just said? I don't even know what that means. Those are just like little valley waterways that lead into Lake Mead or something, or what?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever seen like those really pretty pictures of people hiking around in the desert, and they have like those really thin canyons, and it's beautiful red sandstone or
red
something
rocks
like that.
And all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently out in Utah, along Lake Powell, there's some beautiful spots that you can explore those slot canyons, except they're underwater. And so I have yet to actually check them out for myself. I have like a bookmark tab on my browser that has like different GPS coordinates for places to check out.
Nice. Well, yeah, that sounds interesting for sure. I mean, I would do that. Jerry, you would go do something like that.
I definitely would do that.
Yeah, yes. I mean, the water in the lake in those canyons, I mean, it's still pretty cold year round or no?
Oh, yeah. Lake Mojave. So Lake Mojave is fed by pretty much the bottom of Lake Mead. And so it's pretty chilly.
Like we're talking
pretty chilly, yeah,
what are you talking
50
about?
Degrees.
It's that cold. Oh, geez.
It's in the 50s right now, yeah. And during the summer, you come out and your face is numb. And
yeah.
I'll be more than happy to go on the boat and support you all.
Okay, he's going to be a bubble watcher.
We can take some sup. We can take some sup.
Y'all can take my GoPro and I'll just tell everybody I did it.
You'll lie? That's not fair.
It's really fun doing the Colorado River though, especially when there's a current, because you get like if you go upstream and then you can just drift dive down, and there's a bunch of kayakers that go through there, so you can pick up cell phones and fishing poles and
dead bodies, knives, guns.
I haven't seen any of those yet.
Okay, all right. I never thought about that possibility. Actually, it does sound kind of cool if you can tolerate the cold or come up with some kind of thermal protection, whether it's dry suit or whatever, and do something like that.
Maybe we can get some of those heated
rash guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that.
I would do that.
Have you guys tried those?
Yeah, I have one, and I've used that a couple times. I actually, that's how I did Redondo Beach in California. I had a heated rash guard. We had a couple of them.
That would be the only way that I would do that, Greg.
A heated rash guard or a dry suit?
Yes. Heated everything, thermals from head to toe.
No, you only put it around your torso. You don't put it around your nether regions or anything, Jerry. It ain't going to do anything about that. It will not solve the issue of
well, that sucks.
Shrinkage. So it's going to happen. Sorry. But no, it does work because it warms up that layer of water inside your wetsuit, which is what, keeps you warm. It's a thin little layer of water that, your body warms up on a typical wetsuit. It can only do so much. So a heated rash guard adds a little extra oomph to it, and it travels around your whole body and keeps you warm. All right, more coming up. Stay close.
Scuba Radio. Would you like to talk diving? Greg the Dive Master's all toweled down and ready to take your call now. Call Scuba Radio at 1-888-88-SCUBA.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer. And Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Peregrine is a simple, full-color, multi-gas dive computer. It's also the most economical Shearwater dive computer released to date. Check it out and the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater, dive computers for demanding divers.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving, flying, and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving, flying, and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why I wanted to tell you about Nanook Professional Protective Cases. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook cases generally cost less than similar products currently on the market. From an iPhone to a full set of dive gear, whatever you need to shield from the elements, Nanook Professional Protective Cases has the size, shape, and color for you. Go to nanook.com. That's NANUK.com for Nanook Professional Protective Cases. The evolution of protection.
Hey, baby, what's going down?
Later, nerd.
Are you lacking with the ladies?
Nope.
Enhance your scuba superpowers with a new ScubaRadio hat.
Wow, nice hat.
Just picked it up at ScubaRadio.com.
Buy 2 ScubaRadio hats and get free shipping.
Need a dive buddy, sexy?
Always, and I got a ScubaRadio hat for you, too.
New ScubaRadio hats are now available at ScubaRadio.com.
So cool.
Order yours today, or stay a loser.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Sweet zombie Jesus. It's huge.
Whoa, that's big.
A colossal mouth bass. It's diving.
It's pulling us under. Everyone into the ship.
Hey divers, divers, this show's for you, your friends, your neighbors, your dive buddies too. Cause you all know this is the show. For those who go, we're proud to blow. Now this sounds like the place to go. So everybody go with the flow. Cause we like a little scuba diving show. We call Scuba Radio. I said, now this sounds like the place to go. So everybody go with the flow. Cause we like a little scuba diving show. We call Scuba Radio. I said, now this sounds like the place to go. So everybody go with the flow. Cause we're like a little scuba diving show. We call Scuba Radio. This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master, CJ in the studio with me. Scuba Radio Scuba Squad made up of Jerry the Diver Guy, Bubble Boy, and Mermaid Rachel, who is up in Washington right now. And Rachel, I got to ask, have you been doing any diving up there? I mean, right now it'd be like an ice dive situation if you went underwater, wouldn't it?
I've been trying to do some ice diving, and the nearest lakes that I've been able to scout out are at least like an 8-mile snowshoe too. So,
geez. So it'd be a bit of a hike, let alone a dive.
About that, yeah. Like we were talking about the logistics for it. Like, you know, obviously you'd want to do it on breath hold so you don't have to carry as much stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, you'd still have to pack like, you know, your ice saw and maybe like a few pieces of firewood. So maybe you could like run back to a fire after you're cold.
Right.
And then,
right.
yeah, hiking all of your stuff back down. I did that during the summer a lot. Like we would free dive some alpine lakes out here.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, I definitely want to do that at some point. And winter diving is actually pretty cool here.
Well, I mean, I know I'm not the only one thinking this particular question, but the one big question would be why? Why would you do this? I mean, it's just
so it's actually really pretty here. So during the winter, you don't have all of the blooms, and the kelp forests are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
The Puget Sound is one of those places where you can dive with giant Pacific octopus.
And the wolf eels? What about the wolf eels? Oh, but you haven't seen the giant octopus.
I still haven't. Yeah, like they were hanging out at about 100 feet. And like the last time I went out to a dive site where there's like a regular octopus den, I was on breath hold. And I was with somebody that was less experienced. So, you know, you want to dive with the level of your buddy.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely want to check that out at a later point. You can also do it in the Tacoma Narrows. Apparently there's some places out there. Edmonds Underwater Park is amazing. That's just a tiny bit north of Seattle. But they've actually created a dive park with like different, it's basically like rope lines that you can follow to different things that they've sunk along the way. So like different boats, and you can see nudibranchs. And then, yeah, like tons of plumose sea anemones. So
and what about the wolf eels? They got the wolf eels around there too, or no?
They do. And then they have cabezons. They have some pretty, the link cod. They're fairly docile.
Yeah, like the big old sea bass looking thing. Yeah, but what was the one before that? The what? You said something.
Link cod?
No, but right before that one. What was the critter you said?
Cabezon?
Yeah, what is that? Cabezon? What do you mean?
Yeah, they're another big fish.
Oh, okay.
They're another fairly big fish.
But you've never seen the wolf eels?
I haven't seen a wolf eel either. Those are like the two things on my bucket list up here to see. So wolf eels and giant Pacific octopus. I've seen like a little baby octopus.
Yeah, that's what you hear about. You know, I've seen the videos when you're talking about diving Puget Sound, and like you hear about the wolf eels, you hear about the giant octopus. But have you
guys heard about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go what? Have I heard about what?
Have you guys heard of Deception Pass?
No, explain.
Okay, so that's another bucket list dive site out here that I'd love to do. It has some pretty significant up and down wellings. And it's very, very current sensitive dive site that you'd want to do from a boat. But because the currents are ripping through there so much, it brings in a lot of nutrients. And it's one of the few places that you can see tropical colors except in cold water diving.
Very nice. Well, it sounds like the Galapagos. They got a site called the Washing Machine with the same type of thing.
And the currents are going everywhere. Dominica and the Bahamas or any place like that?
Yeah, I was actually in the Bahamas. Yeah, I was actually in the Bahamas last year. Dominica's on the to-do list. I have some buddies who want to go train out there. But we got to dive Dean's Blue Hole last year, which was a pretty phenomenal dive site.
And that was a free dive as well, I assume, when you're doing the Blue Hole? Yeah. Yeah, she's obviously a big-time free diver. What is your, I mean, you know, it's not necessarily the time, but What is your personal best? How do you rate yourself as a free diver, Rachel?
I'm at the professional instructor level, but I'm definitely not competitor level. So I have over a 5-minute breath hold, and I'm looking to get into the 6-minute range this year. So I've been training for that. And then max depth is 41 meters, so 147 feet.
Nice.
So
that is crazy. That's a superpower. You kidding me?
How could you take say somebody that holds your breath 30 seconds up to a 4-minute mark or something? How long would it take you to train them?
It really depends on the person. So for the first few minutes, the urge to breathe is actually caused by a buildup of carbon dioxide. So it really depends on their level of CO2 tolerance. It also depends, some people have a huge fear of holding their breath or feeling like they're going to suffocate. And, so then it's kind of a cerebral thing. So if it's your mind that's the block, then, we go through a series of exercises that way.
What if they have no mind, or it's been shot
and they just go for it?
Screwed away, messed up with too much moonshine and things like that, or they have special needs. I don't know.
They can usually double their breath hold time.
Okay, you can double it to a minute, Jerry. Let's say, we know a guy.
Get a trainer.
Jerry, practice in your bathtub.
There you go. And on that note, we'll wrap it up till next time. Remember, it's always better where, gang?
Down where it's wetter.
Safe diving, everyone.
If you be pressurized there, you'll want to be there on Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Scuba Radio. This seems the logical place for fish to congregate.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past editions of Scuba Radio worldwide over the internet at ScubaRadio.com.
So we're in international waters?
Indeed so.
Tell a friend and buddy up with your radio every week for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Well, it's all very nice here, but we should be going. I miss me wife and me oxygen.
Yes, we all miss our loved ones and gases. Let's go.
The opinions you just heard on Scuba Radio are those of the hosts, callers, and guests.
Okay, what I just heard? Blah, 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 blah.
They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
Come on, quit yanking me.
Scuba diving does involve risk and should never be conducted without proper instruction and training.
Oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I could die.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at ScubaRadio.com.